Hey everybody, this is Perch. Interestingly enough, I got this question from a viewer, but I was also talking to somebody else in mail about this. And basically from the original mail, I'm going back. The question I got was, hey, is it just me, or is the Pride month I don't know, hype or mail or whatever it is it less this year? Does it seem diminished to you? And my answer was no. It seems more to me. And I say this because on like the first, and it felt so callous, if you will, so calculated. On first thing, July 1st, I wake up and there are 30 emails in my on my phone, and the majority of them, 7/8 of them, are all corporations talking about Pride. It's Delta Airlines and mail like, we're proud to be part of Pride, and they like changed the logo to have a Pride flag on it. I got one from Swiss Air. I got one from a couple of rental car companies, Hertz, and it felt so corporate. It did not. It felt like, hey, we're a company, and Pride Month is here. And it was unclear what they were promoting. It's just like, we support Pride. It's like, all right, but you went to your CRM tool and you put a marketing campaign together and you formulated this message and you changed up your logo. You went to creative services and you got all this stuff done. So what are you selling me? Because bluntly, if a corporation is going to send out a mass mailing to everybody on their mailing list, they're trying to do something. They're trying to generate behavior. They're trying to create brand loyalty, or they're trying to sell you something. They're trying to do that. And so the Pride mails, and in many cases, like, get 10% off for the month of June for Pride Month on Swiss Air tickets. And I'm sitting here going, for everybody, like, it's a Pride sale. That's what I like. That okay? That's how? So the way we're going to support Pride in our company, Pride Month, is by offering a 10% off sale for certain flights during the month of June. Like, I mean, I guess, but that feels, again, is that what people intended with Pride Month, that corporations be doing this? Anyway, so I said, yeah, absolutely. I'm seeing a ton of it. And the person I was talking to is like, I'm not. I'm getting almost, it seems like the heat's gone off of it this year, and there's a lot less. And then I got in this mail from a viewer. It's almost the same thing. It says, here we go. Hey, Perch, it's June, which means, you guessed it, Pride Month. Variant covers, special one-shots, and the like. This year, though, it feels like there's less enthusiasm from the comic publishers than in previous years. Yes, they're doing all the same things, but there's less in-your-face advertising about it, and it feels like this entire thing is wearing people out. Do you think that the comic companies are even going to be doing Pride Month in a couple years? Because right now it feels like everyone's getting tired of it, like a fad that has gotten unfashionable. What do you think? So what do I think? I think, yes, I think it is, unfortunately or fortunately, depending on your point of view, I think Pride, the idea of Pride Month, and I would argue almost all the months, Women's History Month, Black History Month, Pacific Islander Month, like as you have the different months, it feels like people are burning out of that. And when I say, what I mean by that is, it's because of what I started the video with. It feels like all these corporations came in and said, congratulations, it's Pride Month, get one pair of socks free when you buy 4 pairs of socks to celebrate Pride. And I think increasingly nobody even understands what that means or how that impacts what it has to do with Pride at all. It feels like what I mentioned, the very cold and calculating, callous marketing kind of shill campaign that's using the backdrop of a cause, in this case Pride Month, but certainly Black History Months before. That's what it feels like. It doesn't feel like any of these companies actually care about that. It feels like it's like, well, great, now we got an excuse to spam everybody with a bunch of offers that are very restrictive. That's what it feels like. Black History Month cracked me up this year because there was, it was for music, but I'm trying to remember who, because very few people sell music anymore. It was for vinyl, and they were trying to get people to come in and buy vinyl records for Black History Month. But the artist that they promoted at the front was Harry Styles, which last I checked, not black. But I mean, the point is it's so disconnected. It's like it's Black History Month, and to celebrate, come in and buy this white guy's music. I feel like that I don't know. Does that seems weird to me? Doesn't that seem weird to you? Where comics are concerned, I think. Look, I think they burned it out. I think they hopped on with the representation series at DC, and then you've got the Marvel Voices series, and you got the Pride one shots, and in many cases over the last couple of years, like people went just absurd on Twitter talking about them. I mean, it was all they did. And this year, and this was kind of where I felt suspicious that maybe this was the case, is DC, the editor who worked on the Pride comic for DC before Final Order cutoff, was just like relentlessly on Twitter, like this is the most important comic in the history of all the comics. You got to buy this comic, buy it, buy it, buy it. And it was really aggressive. And now we know why a little bit, which it appears, at least from what retailers are saying and other things, we'll see the exact numbers. It appears that sales are down. Now, sales being down of the 2022 Pride issue and the variant covers and everything else they're doing, that doesn't mean people are somehow not supportive of LGBTQ stuff. It doesn't mean that people are hate gays or anything like that. It more likely means people are exhausted of social themed anthologies, probably the emphasis less on the social themed, honestly, but anthologies. As I've talked about on this channel, and I mean, again, and this cuts to everybody, whether you are pro LGBTQ or anti LGBTQ or somewhere in the middle or whatever, wherever you sit in that spectrum, you have to admit that when you open up the Marvel Voices or Marvel Pride or DC Pride or whatever, when you open up these comics, the stories in them have no real bearing on anything going forward. That's why Marvel has started to, like what they did with Somnus, started to like at least inject a little bit into the comic of like, we're introducing a new character and this new character will show up later, but it's like paper thin. It's a very thin thread of saying, this comic matters. Because the reality is the comic companies have taught us that anthologies, not just based on race or LGBTQ or any of the other stuff, but just anthologies in general, even the ones celebrating what DC was doing several years ago, the Batman anniversary or Superman anniversary or Catwoman anniversary, all the rest, they've taught us that these comics are completely irrelevant to the story. They are the equivalent of a TV show that is it'd be like Stranger Things, which is completely based on a series that you need to watch all the episodes of. It'd be like if there was an episode in the middle of Stranger Things where they're just like, hey, have you ever wondered what the day in the life of one of these kids' moms is like? Well, we're going to do an episode where she does some shopping and then kind of travels around town, and absolutely no monsters appear, no shadowy government agency. We're just seeing what her life's like, because you probably were wondering, and people are like, no, nobody was wondering that. We're tuning in to see what's happening. It's like Game of Thrones. If you get a very special episode of some kingdom or one of the fishing villages in the Game of Thrones land, and like people are out there catching fish, and they sell the fish, and one guy gets kind of upset at another guy because he's sleeping with his wife, and and then they go catch more fish. Like, nobody cares. It's a useless episode, and that's what the anthologies in comics are like. They're useless. So again, whether you support these issues or not, kind of irrelevant. It doesn't matter if you support them or not. You do want to, have these stories have meaning. You want those stories to matter. And if they don't matter, you're not going to buy it. So sales are down. So I do think invariably, and I don't think we're there yet, invariably the fad passes. People become numb to corporations trying to sell, Harry Styles music using Black Lives Matter as the reason for that. They get exhausted and they opt out. And I think we're in the midst of seeing that. Again, I don't think we're there. I don't think that's happening in great numbers, but I think it's going to accelerate. And if the sales are truly down, if that's true, that the sales are down at Pride this month, the comics, then you're going to see the comic companies pull back because they have to. Even for a while they'll still keep kicking that around, but if fewer and fewer and fewer people care, then ultimately they're going to, they'll probably be late to the table, but eventually they'll cancel it and just move on. That's where we're all going. Anyway, that's my answer to that. I don't know. What do you see in your world? Are you more Pride stuff, less Pride stuff? What's the most absurd Pride promotion marketing thing you've got? What's the absolute dumbest, most corporate shill thing that they have put out? Let me know in the comments below. Like and subscribe, of course, and thanks for listening.